In the dead of night, on a lonely stretch of highway, a devastating crash shattered the silence. A luxury car, now a twisted wreck, was rapidly being consumed by flames. Inside, a young boy was trapped, his cries for help lost in the roar of the fire. Onlookers stood frozen, paralyzed by fear, their phones recording the tragedy but none daring to intervene. The inferno was growing, a ticking clock counting down the final seconds of the boy's life. Just when all hope seemed lost, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a young woman, her clothes worn and her face smudged with dirt, but her eyes held a fire fiercer than the flames in front of her. Without a moment's hesitation, she sprinted toward the burning car. The crowd gasped, shouting for her to stop, but their warnings were drowned out by her sheer determination. She was just a poor girl with nothing to her name, but in that moment, she possessed a courage that money could never buy. She wrenched at the mangled door, her hands blistering against the scorching metal. The heat was unbearable, the smoke choking, but she refused to give up. With a final, desperate heave, the door creaked open. She reached inside, unbuckling the terrified boy and pulling him from the wreckage just as the car's fuel tank exploded in a massive fireball, sending a shockwave through the air. She shielded the boy with her own body, collapsing to the ground as sirens wailed in the distance. The crowd was speechless, their phones now forgotten. They had just witnessed an act of pure, selfless heroism. Miles away in a penthouse overlooking the city, a phone call pierced the quiet luxury. It was a call that would bring a titan of industry to his knees. The man on the other end of the line was a billionaire, a man who commanded empires and moved markets with a single word. He believed he controlled everything, that his wealth was a fortress against the world's chaos. But when he heard the news, that his only son was in a horrific accident, his world crumbled. He rushed to the hospital, his mind a maelstrom of fear and disbelief. His fortune, his power, it was all meaningless now. All that mattered was his son. When he arrived, his son was safe, shaken but miraculously alive. Overwhelmed with relief, the billionaire demanded to know who had saved him. The paramedics and police officers exchanged glances, a mix of awe and reverence on their faces. They pointed to a quiet corner of the emergency room. There, being treated for severe burns and smoke inhalation, was the young woman. Her clothes were tattered, her hands bandaged, but she radiated a quiet strength. The billionaire stared, utterly confused. This was his son's savior? This girl, who looked like she didn't have a penny to her name? He approached her cautiously, his mind struggling to reconcile the reality before him. He, a man who could buy anything, was indebted to someone who had nothing. He offered her money, a blank check, anything she wanted. He thought, as he always had, that wealth was the ultimate solution. But she gently shook her head, a soft smile on her lips. "I didn't do it for a reward," she said, her voice raspy. "I did it because it was the right thing to do. A life is worth more than any amount of money." Her words struck him like a thunderbolt. In that moment, the billionaire saw the world through new eyes. He had spent his life accumulating wealth, building walls of gold and steel, only to realize he was the one who was truly poor. He was poor in spirit, poor in compassion, poor in the things that truly mattered. This young woman, with her courageous heart and selfless spirit, was richer than he could ever hope to be. She hadn't just saved his son's life, she had saved his soul. This encounter became the start of an unlikely bond. The billionaire, humbled and transformed, dedicated himself to helping her. He didn't just give her money. He gave her opportunities, a future, and most importantly, his genuine friendship and respect. He learned from her that true wealth isn't measured in bank accounts, but in the kindness we show to others and the courage we find in ourselves. He saw that bravery and humanity cannot be bought or sold. They are priceless treasures of the human spirit. Their lives, once separated by a vast chasm of wealth and status, became intertwined in the most beautiful way. He found redemption, and she found a future she never thought possible. His son grew up knowing the story of the girl who risked everything for him, a constant reminder that heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they're just ordinary people who choose to do extraordinary things. This powerful story proves that one single selfless act has the power to change everything. It can melt the coldest hearts, bridge the widest divides, and alter destinies forever. It reminds us all that at the core of our humanity lies a boundless capacity for compassion and bravery. Thank you so much for watching this incredible story unfold. If it touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. We'll see you in the next video.